Sami KO, Unsanctioned.
Seth grabs the last spot in the Elimination Chamber.
And Naomi gives away who will be in the women's main event at WrestleMania. Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
We opened, surprisingly, with Sami Zayn, and he can't think of another two names that have been tied together more than his and Owens throughout their entire career, from pool halls right up to WrestleMania. Zayn can't forgive or forget this time because KO tried to end his career. The problem is, he didn't get the job done. Sami says he'll be in Toronto and wants the fight, when he's interrupted by Adam Pearce. Pearce heads towards the ring, telling Sami that everyone has told him no, from the board to medical, and he's not medically cleared. Pearce then heads back up the rampway, with Sami calling after him, saying he won't take no for an answer. Pearce tells Sami why they shouldn't go ahead with it, but Sami leaves the ring, telling Pearce he wants the match. Pearce relents, saying it's not official, it's unsanctioned. You and KO one-on-one in Toronto. If you think we deserve it, then why not drop us a subscribe? It means nothing to you, but everything to us.
Next we see the grainy footage that we saw last week from SmackDown of Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez walking near the ambulance that Jade Cargill was being loaded onto all those months ago before heading to the Judgment Day den. Dom seems worried that Naomi and Bianca are heading to Raw looking for Liv and Raquel, with Liv telling Dom not to worry. Dom brings up wanting a new member again when Bálor walks over. Bálor says there will be 3 members of the Judgment Day at Elimination Chamber, unless Raquel loses to Roxanne Perez. Raquel says she'll take care of her business, telling Finn to take care of his. Finn says he will, before telling Dom no new members.
First match of the night, AJ Styles versus Dominik Mysterio. Carlito with Dom. Dom doesn't really lay a finger on Styles in the opening part of the match. That is until Styles sets up for the phenomenal forearm, which Carlito foils by grabbing AJ's leg. This causes Styles to fall to the floor, with Dom then diving out of the ring into Styles. We come back from the break to find we're back in the ring, with Dom going for a cover, broken by Styles putting his foot on the rope. Styles then stops the third of the 3 amigos, only for Dom to hit the 619 after drop kicking the phenomenal one and then following up with a missed frog splash.
Styles then turns it up and batters Dom, only for Carlito to distract him. It works to some degree, but not all, as Styles boots Carlito off the apron, but suffers a 2-count cover from a roll-up by Dom. Dom then ends up in the Styles clash and gets pinned for the 1-2-3. While Styles is celebrating in the ring, Bron Breakker appears behind him and charges looking for a spear. Only Styles moves out the way, with Dom getting speared instead. Styles then throws Bron out the ring and the two staring at one another.
That looks like it's set then.
Must be.
We see American Made next, backstage with Ivy Nile. She tells the Creeds they promised Master Gable they'd have gold when he came back. Dakota Kai then walks past, Nile's opponent next, with Kai telling Nile she's faced far tougher women than her.
So, Ivy Nile versus Dakota Kai in a number 1 contenders match for the Women's Intercontinental title. Live Valkyria at ringside. Kai starts well until dumped over the top rope by Nile, with Nile then going to work on Kai's knee. Kai fights back, forgetting to sell the knee by kicking and punching Nile before an over-the-top knees to the back gets her a 2-count cover. Cole then said it was almost like a destroyer, with McAfee calling it a code red back oof. Anyway, Nile fought back with a powerbomb and ankle lock. Kai, though, reached the ropes.
After a little more back and forth with a German suplex from Nile and swapped pin attempts, Nile once again locks in the ankle lock, which Kai again escapes. Dakota then hoists Nile up onto her shoulders, GTKs her and covers the pitbull for the victory. After the match, Valkyria gets in the ring and raises the title to Dakota. Bringing the gold home for Gable is not going so well for Team America at the moment. The crowd were rather quiet for this match as well, I noticed. And also, can they not think of a better name for Kai's finisher GTK, which is go to kick? I think that is awful.
Yeah, it doesn't really flow.
What about the Kai kick, because that's her name, which can then be called the double K?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit easier. Then there's crescent kick, which it is. Kai high.
Yeah.
Play on sky high. Come on, WWE Creative. Get your thinking caps on because GTK is awful.
Next, we see Gunther in the concourse of the building and then heading into the arena, a la Jey Uso. He calls Jey simple before saying, performing for you is like reading Shakespeare to a dog. Gunther then asks a child to step aside before something happens.
He just stands in the way.
As he makes his way down to the steps. He lays into Jey, saying he's not good enough, saying the crowd will have Jey's blood on their hands. The crowd chant for Jey, with Gunther then getting on the announcer's desk and asking Cole and Pat if they think Jey can beat him. Gunther tosses his mic to Pat. Pat says, yeah, I think he could beat you, with Gunther then removing his jacket. As he does, Jey's music hits, with he and Gunther then going at it in the ring. Gunther eventually escapes back up the rampway, leaving Jey to yeet along with the crowd.
Now, when Gunther got on the announcer's desk and the camera dropped into the crowd,
Yeah.
I thought, oh, you know what Jey's going to do? Sweep his legs. Exactly the same as last
that'd
week,
have been good, yeah.
but he didn't, so I was disappointed. Backstage, Kathy Kelly is with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Kathy's pointing the finger that they had something to do with Jade Cargill. Liv says they don't have time for her theories, but if they had attacked Cargill, they won't feel bad about it.
Penta against Pete Dunne now. We start with a slugfest and headlock from Penta, with Dunne then going to work on Penta's fingers and knee. We get a backcracker / backstabber from Penta before Dunne regains control as the two go out the ring. Ludwig Kaiser then slowly makes his way down the rampway, and we must have had a break because the screen fades to black, and when we come back, Dunne's in the ring, Penta on the apron, and Kaiser's near the announcer's desk.
Magic.
Penta flips Dunne into the ring and hits him with a modified bulldog. Cole's words, not mine, and then covers for 2. Dunne then hits a sit-down powerbomb into a cover for 2, after catching Penta doing his headstand on the top rope move.
I don't know what that's called.
No idea.
If you let us know in the comments, that'd be appreciated. We then get a slapping match before Penta pulls out the Mexican Destroyer. Dunne rolls out the ring. Penta looks to the ropes to bounce off to go after him, but Kaiser stands on the apron blocking his way. This allows Dunne a little more recovery time, kicking Penta and covering for 2. Dunne then tells Kaiser to stay out of his business, with Penta then throwing Dunne into Kaiser and knocking him off the apron. We then see the Penta driver and cover for 3 as Penta wins again. After the bell, Kaiser enters the ring, laying into Penta, but as he does, Dunne grabs the German and pulls him to the outside, with the two then going toe-to-toe. Penta soon puts a stop to this by flying over the top rope.
Backstage, Kathy Kelly speaks with Jey Uso. He says people are doubting him, but Jey says he's going to become new World Heavyweight Champ. I hope he does.
Well, I do. We have a vignette from the War Raiders next, and they won American Made. They've had their shot and missed. But next time they have a match, it's war.
Up next, Raquel Rodriguez versus Roxanne Perez in the last qualifying match for the Women's Elimination Chamber. Liv with Rodriguez. The only offence Perez manages to get at the beginning is a slap to Rodriguez, which Rodriguez laughs off as she continues to woman handle the diminutive NXT star. After a chase around the ring, Perez gets back in and dives out at Rodriguez. Rodriguez, though, catches her and then throws her into the ring post. Raquel goes for a pin after a gorilla pressing Perez, but only gets a 2 count. Rodriguez then continues to ragdoll her opponent by throwing her into the top turnbuckle and helicoptering her.
I'd get so dizzy. Like, oh. Perez there reverses a buckle bomb attempt and then rolls Rodriguez up for a 2 count cover before locking in the sleeper, which gets her nowhere. Perez comes off the middle rope where Rodriguez catches her and performs a fall-away slam before dropping a spinning elbow off the middle rope and covering for 2. I do like that move. Rodriguez then messes herself up by running at a corner Perez. Perez dodging the impending attack, with Rodriguez ending up on the floor outside after running into the ring post. Roxanne dives through the ropes twice at Raquel before heading back into the ring with Raquel and springboard moonsaulting her, covering for 2.
A big boot puts Perez down for a 2 count, but then we hear Bianca Belair's music hit. She and Naomi, in full East Compton Clovers cheerleading gear from the film Bring It On, surrounded Liv and beat her up, which in turn distracts Rodriguez. Perez takes advantage of this, hitting her finisher, Pop Rocks, and then covers Big Mommy Cool for the victory. After the match, the tag champs get Morgan in the ring and they're about to double team her when Rodriguez makes the save, pulling her Judgment Day stablemate to safety.
Kathy Kelly backstage with Seth Rollins, and she asks him if he has any final words for his opponent. Seth says it's as big as it gets. Bálor needs the win, but Seth needs it more, and it's time for a fight. As Seth heads off, Karrion Kross and Scarlett come into shot. Karrion says that Jey believes he's going to beat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, with Kross shaking his head. He then adds that Seth thinks he's going to qualify for the Elimination Chamber and then eliminate the Invisible Man, John Cena. Kross again shakes his head, saying no. Kross doesn't give Sami much hope against Owens with the state he's in, but believes deep down inside there's always more time to turn things around. So cryptic.
So cryptic.
No need.
We get a vignette from a drowning Io Sky next. She says the match with Rhea is all the opportunity she needs. She respects her, but will punch her ticket to WrestleMania.
New Day are in the ring now, and after a recap of them beating up Rey Mysterio after Raw went off the air last week, we hear from Xavier Woods, who tells Rey to get well soon. They get booed once again, with Woods telling them to shut up. Kofi claims he should be locker room leader as he's been here longer than Rey and never left. I don't think he'd been there as long as Rey. But anyway,
A long time.
The audacity of Rey kicking them out of the locker is why they attacked him last week. After rambling on a little more, out come the LWO. Dragon Lee says that what they did to Rey is unforgivable before speaking in Spanish. Lee then says New Day sucks, with Wilde and Del Toro rushing the ring and attacking Woods and Kingston. LWO then stand tall after putting a beat down on the New Day. So that'll be a tag match coming soon.
Definitely. Backstage, Kathy Kelly, busy tonight, gets a word with the women's tag team champions, Belair and Naomi.
Jackie must be off.
She asks if that's the revenge they were after. Naomi says they've been counting down the days until the truth came out about Jade, and now Liv and Raquel will be counting down their days. Belair and Naomi speak about not being afraid to face each other in the chamber, while Naomi slips up saying as long as it comes down to one of us and Rhea in the ring at WrestleMania. The Glow Star then puts her finger up and adds, or EO. But the pause was too long and she knew she'd slipped up. She should have said, as long as it comes down to one of us and Rhea or EO in the ring at WrestleMania. So, spoiler alert, EO won't be winning her title shot the Raw after Elimination Chamber.
Get your money on Rhea. Last match of the night, Seth Rollins v Finn Bálor for the last spot in the Elimination Chamber. Bálor attacks Seth before the Visionary has even removed his coat, with the ref backing Finn up to his corner and then the bell ringing to start the match. Bálor continues his onslaught, hitting Seth with a pedigree and getting a 2-count cover. We then see a shotgun dropkick and missed coup de grace, with Seth hitting a clothesline to buy himself some time. It works as Seth lays in kicks to Bálor in the corner before diving through the ropes at him after Finn had escaped the ring.
Back in the ring, Seth drops Bálor with a springboard knee and then misses a follow-up stomp, with Bálor hitting a sling blade. Seth targets Bálor's knee, kicking and stretching it where he can, before we end up outside with Rollins dropping Bálor onto the announcer's desk. Bálor eventually ends up on the ring steps where Seth goes for and misses a stomp. Bálor pushes Seth into the ring post before sweeping his legs, sending Seth crashing down onto the steps face first. We hit a break, come back, and it's like nothing happened, as we're back in the ring with Seth being stretched. Seth hits a step up in Seguri, Bálor retaliates with an overhead kick, and both men end up down on the mat.
The two men eventually rise, with Seth clubbing and chopping Bálor until he DDTs him, catches him with a knee and covers for 2. A springboard moonsault gets the same result on the cover. Seth hits a buckle bomb and climbs the ropes for a frog splash, but Bálor gets his knees up and rolls Rollins up, but only for 2. After exchanging punches in the middle of the ring, Bálor sling blades Seth and goes looking for the shotgun dropkick again. Seth, though, counters it into a sharpshooter. Bálor reaches for the ropes. Seth moves towards the centre of the ring, releases the hold and hits a pedigree. Bálor kicks out on 2.9. When he didn't, if you watch closely, the ref could have slapped the mat for a 3rd time, but he stopped. It was then that Finn raised his shoulder.
Seth has a word with the ref and then tells him to suck it. Clearly a fan of the best era attitude. Before Bálor and Seth fight on the top turnbuckle, Bálor was going for the coup de grace after kicking Seth down to the mat, but Seth stopped it and went for a superplex, which Bálor thwarted, setting up Seth for the coup de grace he was trying to hit in the first place. Seth kicked out the following up cover onto and into his own pin, which Bálor kicked out of onto, again before locking in a crossface. Seth slipped it, stomped Bálor and covered the Irishman for the win, booking himself into the Elimination Chamber. Raw goes off the air with Seth celebrating in the ring, which was nice because someone's usually getting their ass handed to them, aren't they?
Yeah, it was just a nice way to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, standard Raw, nothing exciting, nice match at the end.
Yeah, I thought it was quite a good match.
Yeah, that's it. Any thoughts or views you'd like to share, then please feel free to leave them in the comments section below, so we can then discuss them in our video tomorrow, the musings of the past week in WWE. Thank you again for watching.
And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.